Very good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. If the videos are really helpful for you, I would request you all to please like, share, and subscribe my channel to get more videos and updates like this. Okay, what's our today's topic? Today we are going to cover how to do basic configuration on FortiGate firewall to provide internet connectivity on LAN. What we are going to do exactly in this, we are going to allow the internet for our LAN segment or LAN network, local network to access the internet through FortiGate firewall. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just create a topology and tell you more about this, what exactly we are going to do. Okay, so I'm going to add a node and the first node is going to be our Windows PC. Okay, so I'm going to add Windows 7 PC. You can add like whichever you do have, but I'm going to add Windows 7. Okay, let me change the name. I'm going to put a name like LAN PC. You can put whatever you want. Let me just change the icon and let me save this. Okay, so I added the first node and that is our Windows PC. Okay, let me just add the next node and what it is going to be our firewall. So how you can add, let me just tell you, just right click here and click on node and just type whatever node you want to add in your lab so that you will get the output and you can select that particular node. So I have selected here Fortinet FortiGate. Okay, and this is our firewall which we are going to add as a next node. And here if you are going to see, we do have multiple versions. So I'm going to use 7.0.12 here, and the RAM looks fine, the port looks fine. Let me just save this. Okay, so we have added our firewall here. Next, what we need internet here. So to get internet on EVNG, you have to add a network object. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to you have to do a right click and click on network, and in network you will get multiple type of networks, multiple type of adapters. So which one we have to select? We are going to use this particular object, network object for internet. So which one we have to select? We have to select the management cloud 0. Okay, remember always, like whenever you try to reach out to internet from EVNG, you have to select management cloud 0. There are some other options, I'll tell you later, but for now just remember, whenever you are going to perform a lab and in that particular lab you want to reach out to internet, just select management cloud 0. Okay, and here I'm going to change the name. I'm going to put the name as a internet plus management. Why internet plus management? Because I'm going to access my firewall through this particular node only. Let me change the icon as well so it will look good. Don't get confused. What I have done here, like I just I added a network object, and in network object I added the type management cloud 0 and I changed the icon. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so here we do have our internet. So let me do the connectivity with our firewall. I'm going to connect my internet on FortiGate firewall port 1. Why I am going to connect this particular, I mean, why I am going to connect our internet on port 1? Because port 1 is in always in like DHCP mode. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. At first firewall will get an IP from DHCP itself and then we can proceed the further configuration. Okay, so always try to connect your FortiGate firewall on port 1 from internet. Okay, and let me do a connectivity for our LAN PC as well. So I just connected port 2 from our LAN PC, and let me before explaining this topology, let me just turn on these devices because it is going to take some time. All right, so we created the topology. Let me just do one thing. Let me just assign the IP subnets as well, what we are going to use as a LAN subnet and what we are going to use as a WAN subnet. So I am going to use 10.10.10.0 slash 24, and let me just change the font style and color. So This is okay. So this is going to be our LAN subnet 10.10.10.0/24. Let me just duplicate this and assign a IP to our LAN PC. What we are going to use the IP for LAN PC, it is going to be 10.10.10.10. Okay, let me just duplicate this one and 10.10.10.100/24. Okay, and the main question now is what is the subnet we are going to get here? Okay, so for this particular thing, let me just tell you one thing. You have to do one thing. Whenever we are selecting management cloud 0, that is always going to be redirect on your VMnet 8, which is assigned on your VMware. So how you can identify this particular subnet? You have to just visit on your VMware, click on edit, go to virtual network editor, and let me just show you. Here you can get VMnet 8. So what is the IP here? 192.168.0.33. Okay, 192.168.33.0. Right. So let me just put a subnet, same subnet here, and let me just show you how we are going to get a same IP 192.168.33.0/24. Let me just change the font style and color. All right. So this is going to be our internet subnet. However, like in real time, this is going to be public IP, but this time we are performing the lab. That's why we are like assigning this particular private IP and considering this as a public. So don't get confused here as well. And let me just show you, are we talking really this, this is the subnet which is going to be assigned on Fortinet firewall. So we have our DHCP enabled on port 1, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to log in this particular firewall through CLI, and I'm going to check what particular IP has been assigned on port 1. So let me just click enter. So here I got the login prompt. So for login prompt, user ID should be admin and password should be nothing. So just click enter and it will ask for new password. So I'm going to put admin @ 123. You can put whatever you want. Admin @ 123. Okay, so we are in. To check the connectivity, sorry, to check the IP on port 1, interface port 1, you have to run a command. So system interface and question mark. Okay, so if you are going to see, here is the port 1, and port 1 you can see the rest all, if you are going to see, that all are in static mode. Okay, but port 1 is in DHCP. And what IP we really got, if we are going to follow the port 1 DHCP, and here is the IP 192.168.33.0. So let me just put the IP here. This is the our IP assigned on port 1. So if you want, you can take this IP, you can leave this IP as it is, or you can change this port in static and you can assign the IP whatever you want. To change the port and assign the IP, you have to run the command configure system interface, and to edit the port, just run the command edit port 1, and to set it as a static, you can run set mode static, and then you can enter the IP whichever you want, and then you can just enter and okay, then it will get execute and you will get the new IP on port 1. So we are going to leave this as it is. But what is the next hope exactly? What is the IP for this particular internet management hope? Okay, here could be in real, if we are going to perform this task in real time, here could be router or anything else, but here we are assigned cloud management 0 adapter. Okay, but at the time of configuration, we really need what is the next hop where we have to forward the traffic. So we have to identify the IP address for this particular hop as well, or adapter as well. So what is the next hop IP? If we are going on the same place where we identified this VMnet 8 subnet, we have here NAT setting. Just click on that and you will get the IP. So what is our gateway IP? So our gateway IP is 192.168.33.2. So what, like what do you mean by gateway IP? Gateway IP means मतलब कि sorry, I switched into Hindi. So sorry. So what is the next hope for this particular firewall if we are going to talk? So that is the what we got there, 33.2. So that is going to be next hope for our FortiGate firewall. Okay, so let me put that .2 IP here and let me let's start the configuration. Okay, so let me just explain the topology one more time. What we have done here, we have just first added a LAN PC. I have like we are going to just here what we are going to perform exactly. We are going to allow our LAN subnet to access the internet through our FortiGate firewall. So I have added a single PC just to show you. You can add multiple PCs and perform the lab according to your requirement. Okay, so I have added a single LAN PC and that is Windows 7, and we have assigned a IP 10.10.10.10 to the like that particular PC, and we are going to try to like allow internet access for this particular PC through our FortiGate firewall to reach out to internet and use the multiple services. Okay, so here you can see this particular PC is behind our FortiGate firewall, right? And here we have internet on other side. So to access the internet on this particular PC, we really need some configuration on our FortiGate firewall. So what are those configuration and what we have to configure on our FortiGate firewall that make us allow internet for this particular PC? That exactly we are going to cover in this particular topic. So okay, so let's start. I'm going to just tell you something. If we are going to talk about internet like access in LAN segment or LAN PC, so we need some configuration. What we need at first, we need interface configuration. Okay, then we need DNS configuration, then we need routing, then we need policy configuration, and then we need NAT configuration. Okay, so let's start. Let's try to access this particular firewall through GUI. What was the IP for this particular firewall? 133.131. So I'm going to access this particular firewall through GUI. Okay, so we got the login prompt for that particular firewall. I'm going to add login with admin ID and what the password I set for this particular firewall, admin at the rate 123. So I logged in, and this we are going to see like some basic setups, some beginning setup, some like initial configurations for this particular firewall. So I'm going to just select here it is asking for begin, so I clicked on that, and it is asking for host name, so I'll choose FortiGate FG FW. You can choose hostname whatever you want. Okay, and okay, and optimal. I'm going to choose the option optimal. Click OK, and here we do have our dashboard. All right. So what we have to configure very first, we have to configure the interfaces. Okay. So for interface configuration, what we have to visit, we have to visit the network section. In network section, you will get interfaces option. Okay. Let me just tell you, don't get confused. For interface configuration, where we have to visit, we have to click on network section, and there is interface options. Okay, so just click on interface and you will get all the interfaces here. Okay, so we have our port 1. Just refer the topology. Port 1 we have configured as a internet interface, right? Or outside interface, we can talk, like we can say, or WAN interface. Okay, so what I'm going to do, like uh, you can configure the ports here by multiple ways. You can just double click on this particular thing, this particular port, and you will get the options. So what I'm going to put Elias as a WAN just to identify this particular port that we are going to use as a WAN interface. Okay, and the connectivity is DHCP through DHCP, and we do have our IP. You can go through manual as well, but right now I'm going to leave that as it is what we have got the IP from DHCP. Okay, so that's it. We just like put a name that we are going to use this particular interface as a WAN, and that's okay. But the main thing, we have to configure our port 2 as a LAN port. Okay, so that we are going to configure now. And port 2, here you can see we have port 2, so you can double click on this particular port 2 to configure this particular port, or you can just like select this port 2 and you can click on edit. So from there you also get the configuration options. Okay, and you can edit the port from edit option as well. So what I'm going to put, I'm going to use this particular port 2 as a LAN. So I put the alias name as a LAN, and the IP what we are going to use, what we decided to use as per our topology, that is going to be 10.10.10.100/24. So let me just put that IP 10.10.10.100/24. You can put like this as well. And for testing purpose, I'm going to allow HTTPS and ping. Okay, by default it's not allowed for firewall, just remember. So I allowed this ping and HTTPS for this particular interface. Okay, and let me just check other. We don't need DHCP server, network detection, security mode, that we don't need right now. So what we have done here, we have just put a alias name. You can put, or either you can just leave like as a blank. But for better understanding or identification, you have to just put this particular name. Otherwise, it is going to work. Either you are going to leave this as a blank. Okay, and then we put the IP, what we have decided as per our topology, and then we allowed two services, HTTPS and ping, on this particular port. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and now what's next? We have configured our interfaces as per requirement. So next is our DNS. Remember, whenever we are talking about DNS, so FortiGate firewall always by default using the FortiGate DNS. Okay, so here if we have to configure DNS, we have to visit the same place, network, and there is a option DNS. Okay, so we have to visit on that particular option, click on that particular DNS option, and then you will get the option like this. Let me just tell you. Here we do have DNS setting. Okay, and in DNS setting, if we are going to take a look, use FortiGuard server. So right now it's using FortiGuard server as a DNS, but what we need to specify whatever we do have in our real-time network, or whatever we do have like as per our topology, as or like whatever we have to, we have decided we can put by clicking on specify option. So let me just click on this specify option, and let me just put the DNS here. I'm going to put DNS as a global DNS, Google DNS. You can put the same, or if you are going to perform this in real time or for any particular company, then you put whatever DNS you have configured for that particular company or that particular corporate network. Okay, so for secondary, I'm going to use 4.4.4.4 and click apply. That's it. So we have configured our interface, we have configured our DNS. What's next? Next, we need routing. Okay, so we are going to cover routing in detail, but for now, what we are going to do, we are going to provide a static route towards our internet. So if we have to configure routing, we have to visit in network tab, and there is, you can see RIP, OSPF, BGP, routing object, multicast, policy routes, a static route, multiple options are there. Even we have SD-WAN option as well. So what we are going to do, we are going to configure a static route towards internet. Okay, so let me just go on the topology. See what we have here. We are going to internet. We have a LAN PC. Let me just explain you one more time. because we are going to put the routing, and most of the people are not understanding about routing. So here we have LAN PC. Okay, so we know what is our local subnet, right? But we are trying to go on internet with this particular PC through our FortiGate firewall, right? So on internet we on sorry on FortiGate firewall we have to configure the routing. But where we are going, do you know? Like internet is very weak and we have multiple IPs. So we don't know like whether this PC is going to facebook.com, whether this PC is going to google.com, or whether this PC is going to linkedin.com, or whatever. We have multiple servers over internet, right? So we don't know where this PC is going right now, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to allow a default route, like whatever traffic is going towards internet, whatever means any, just forward it towards the next hop. And what is our next hop? Next hop is 192.168.33.2. Okay, so all right, I believe you understand what we are going to configure as a routing. So let's revisit on our firewall, FortiGate firewall GUI, and let's select the static routes. Okay, and here after visiting the static route, you will get an option create new. Just click on that, and what you are going to configure as a subnet tick. Okay, so we have to select subnet, and here we already have any as a destination, but where we are sending that particular traffic. So our next hop 192.168.33.2. Let me put that 192.168.33.2. Okay, and what is going to be the interface for that? So our WAN interface, right? So it's automatically selected, and the ADU if you want, that is like coming in our like multiple route options. But here we do have a single route. We are going to configure a single route towards our internet, so we don't have to touch AD. That is like AD value increase or decrease, that is going to be depend on multiple things that we are not going to touch right now. So we are going to leave it is as like 10, and just click OK. So you are going to see we do have a static route right now, which is configured whatever destination, for any destination, if we are receiving any traffic, just forward it towards 33.2. And on 33.2 we do have multiple things I already showed you in VMware, that was configured as a NAT, right? NAT setting, so it will forward the traffic. That is the second thing what we are going to see. Just like consider this is the NAT, this is our internet, nothing else. That's it. We have to just forward our traffic to 33.2, and rest will take care by ISP. Okay, so what we have done here, we have configured our interface, DNS, and routing. Okay, and now the thing is coming on policy. Okay, what exactly we need as a policy and NAT, right? So before configuring these two things, policy and NAT, let me just like open our LAN PC and try to reach the internet, like whether we are able to reach or not. Let me just log in. All right, let me just open the command prompt and let me just try to ping 8.8.8.8, and it should be continuous. Okay, so right now it's showing transmit failed, general failure. Okay, this could be like multiple regions because we didn't assign the IP as well on this particular PC. So let me just visit the network and sharing center. Let me just change adapter setting and the local area network. Click on that properties, and IPv4 configuration, double click on that and use the following option. What we are going to use really, as per our topology, 10.10.10.10 is going to be IP for this particular local PC. So I'm going to put 10.10.10.10. Subnet is going to be 255.255.255.0. And what is the gateway? Gateway is going to be our LAN interface, like a firewall LAN interface, right? So it is going to be 10.10.10.10. 100. And what is the DNS we are going to use? We put DNS on FortiGate firewall, if you remember, 8.8.8.8 global DNS, right? So I put the same DNS, clicked OK, and if we are going to see, let me just right click on this status details. So this is our IP 10.10.10, and this is our gateway, and this is our DNS. Okay, let me just close this and let me take a look what we are getting as a result. Okay, so now we are getting request timeout. Okay, if we are going to see here, might be like we are able to see some traffic as well. Let me go in this local traffic and sniffing traffic log setting. Okay, so right now, like the thing is like if you are going to see here, we are not able to reach the internet, right? Let me just try Google as well through browser. Okay, so this is also not going to be work as expected because we don't have policy on firewall. Like if you have a little knowledge about firewalls, we definitely these are the basic configuration. Apart from this, we have to allow our traffic as per requirement, and we have to do netting if required. So these two are main important things we have to perform to allow the traffic, and these are the basic things. They are like sometimes we are getting a request in real time, that in that case like routing is already there, DNS is already there, we have to just allow the traffic, and that is going to be policy and NAT. So these two things are very important, and we are going to cover these two things in very detail. So as of now, let me just take a look. Yeah, the Google is still like Google is not working. So to like configure the next thing, policy, we have to visit here policy and object. Okay, in policy and object we do have firewall policy option, and if we are going to see here in firewall policy and just click on this, and you can see there is a like a by default policy which we can't edit, right? And what is the action? Because like it's denying all the traffic by default. It has only one particular policy, and that is denying all the things. And if you are going to see here, we do have some traffics which got hit in this particular like on this particular rule. And why this traffic like hit on this particular rule? Because we were trying here to reach out to internet, and that is like what is the next hope for this particular LAN PC. So next hope is our firewall, FortiGate firewall. So we do have a single policy, and it is denying all the things. So the traffic which we try to ping the global DNS, or we try to reach out the Google, that hit on our like default policy, that was implicit deny. That's the thing why we are not able to reach to internet. So first thing, we have to allow a traffic. So I'm going to create a traffic. Just create new, and after creating like clicking on create new, just a second. Sorry. Yeah, after clicking on just click on FortiGate policy, firewall policy, right? You have to visit policy object, FortiGate firewall policy, and click on create new. Okay, so I clicked on click new, create new, and here is the option. So first it is asking for internet, so I'll tell you allow internet. Okay, and what is the incoming traffic, incoming interface? So as per our like topology, if you are going to see, our LAN PC is sending the traffic towards port 2, right? And where the firewall exactly going to receive the traffic from our LAN PC on port 2, right? So we are going to consider our port 2 as a like LAN interface, and we have already like given the alias name. That's like here you can identify easily. That's the way. That's why we put that particular alias name. So I selected LAN, and for WAN, where it is like sending towards internet, if we are going to towards internet, so where the like firewall is sending the traffic, or what is the egress interface for the internet traffic? So here you can see port 1 is the egress traffic. So I'll just select port 1 or WAN port. Okay, and what is going to be source? So you can like if we are going to click on this particular thing, here we do have option to create new as well. Okay, so you can create the object as per your requirement, or you can create the object for 10.10.10.0 subnet, and you can allow that particular subnet for like as a source where we can from where we can get the traffic from like LAN. But what I'm doing here, I am going to select the default one and which is all for like all right now. We are don't worry, we are going to like cover all the topics in detail later, but what are the main like perspective of this particular thing, this particular lab? We have to just like allow this particular PC for internet communication. So that's why I'm going to take source as a all right now. And what do you mean by all? It's like default from any particular IPs. If the firewall is going to get the traffic, it is going to allow for this particular rule. Okay. And what is the destination? So we don't know. Like on in as I already mentioned, we are going over like on internet, so we don't know the destination. So we are going to select here all. And what is the like? Do you want to schedule this particular uh, policy you can schedule in multiple things like it is going to be work for a particular time, or like it is going to expire after a particular time. But what we need always right now. We are not going to touch these things. These all things we are going to cover in a single multiple videos in details in upcoming time. Okay. And what are the services? So services means what you want to exactly access. Like, do you want ICMP traffic? Do you want TCP traffic, UDP traffic? Do you want HTTP traffic, HTTPS traffic? And whatever you want, FTP, NFS, whatever you want, you can allow. Like, you can allow, like, if you want only ICMP, you can allow ICMP. If you want, you can allow. If you want only traffic like related to HTTPS, you can allow this particular HTTPS. But what we are going to do, we are going to allow all the services right now. So I allow the like traffic from LAN to WAN, from here to here, like port 2 to port 1, and for all source, for all destination, and it is going to work always and going to work for all the services. Okay, and what should be the action? Action should be accept. If you want to drop this traffic, you can select deny. Okay, so I'm going to select, it's already by default selected, accept. And here, if we are going to see here, we do have NAT option allowed. Okay, so that's why I mentioned here we are going to use the NAT inside policy. Okay, and that is already by default allow. So it is going to work for us, and we are going to cover NAT in detail in future. Okay, so for NAT we don't have to configure anything. By the way, I just like I'm going to give you one line that we have two type of NAT, central NAT and policy NAT. And this is like inside the policy, this NAT is like inside the policy though. So this one we can say this is policy NAT. Okay, so NAT is already allowed, and log allowed traffic. Okay, and packet capture, we don't know anything else. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and it is going to apply it. It's already applied here. Let's see if we are able to reach to internet or not. Here you can see we are able to reach to 8.8.8.8, and we are like receiving response as well. You can see. Let me just try for Google if I'm able to reach. See, Google is also working. Let me just try LinkedIn. All right, so LinkedIn is also working. That means like whatever we were trying to achieve with this particular lab, we already achieved. We allowed the internet from this particular LAN PC through our FortiGate firewall. All right, so I believe you guys are clear about that. Let me just refresh the page and show you. See here, we already have some traffic hitted on like whatever rule we have just created. We got some of the traffics. See, 2.14 MB. Let me just like take a look if we are receiving the logs or not, because like sometimes it's taking some time. See here, we are receiving a traffic from 10.10.10 and it's like going towards our here you can see we reached out to Google, right? So this is the destination. And if we are going to allowed internet, what is the rule? It is taking allowed internet, which we have just created, right? So in list, see, and that like traffic is like byte receive is like continuously increasing because like this is the rule from where we are allowing all the things for this particular PC. Let me just do one thing. Let me just open Facebook as well and try to see the logs if we are getting for Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Log forwarding. Yeah, here, see, our 10.10.10.10 is reaching out to 22.12, and that is what www.linkedin.com. Okay, we might receive the traffic for Facebook as well. We have to wait for some time because it's taking some time to reflect the log here. Okay, might be like 10 second, 12 second. But however, I believe you guys are clear how to configure the basic thing or basic connectivity, like how to allow basic internet connectivity from FortiGate firewall. So that's the thing for today. We'll meet soon with new topic. Till the time, thank you. Bye.